Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode, another month of 30 NSG. How is everyone doing? We've been playing Suicide Squad for the last week. We usually do a morning show Monday through Thursday here on this channel. And we've been stuck in Suicide Squad basically the entire time. And I'm absolutely loving it, even though the internet is going crazy. But now there's something else that people are going crazy for, and we're going to talk about that topic today, which is Xbox games rumored to be going to multiplat, which I think I've called, I don't know, well, 5 years ago, on what Microsoft's actual plan is. But hey, who am I to tell people what to do on the internet or what to talk about and actually catch up to people? So we'll talk about the Xbox games rumored to be coming to multiplatform and what Xbox's strategy is moving forward. We're also going to be talking about Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. It was a hell of a week for them. If it was good or bad, we don't know the game sales or whatnot, but just the amount of criticism and what this game is getting knocked down for when people don't even know what it is yet. You know what I mean? It's mind-boggling to me, the amount of hate. But we talked about it a little bit on Generation X Gaming on Thursday. It's like two cultures colliding into one game, and it's getting a lot of crap for it. So lots of Microsoft talk, lots of Suicide Squad talk. If you like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. We talk about game. We read news stories and have a conversation with you. It's not a debate. It's reading the news stories and having conversation for you guys. So if you like that, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button down below. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Let me go to chat. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Mr. Luke? What's going on, Slow? What's going on, L? Flips, Dustin, Dave Rose, the dude. What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. People are whining. In other news, the sky is blue. Happy 10th anniversary, bro. Met you 10 years ago this month. Has it been really that long? Jesus, when I started, I was actually 30 and still gaming. I know the amount of people playing is low. Peak was like 13,000. That's lower than Avengers, but that's on Steam, Rose. That's on Steam. On PlayStation, I believe it's the second. It was the number one, but it's second behind Fortnite on PlayStation. And I don't know what it is. I don't even know where to look on Xbox to see what games are, the top. Suicide Squad player count is lower than Gotham Knights. Here's the thing. There's games that are broke, buggy, and unfinished. This game's not one of those. This game is getting crapped on because it started off as, well, it's a live service game, and people started crapping on that. 2, it started getting crapped on after that because it wasn't a Batman Arkham game that people wanted from Rocksteady. And now 3, it's getting crapped on because of the ridiculousness of people saying that it's disrespectful to the Justice League when they're just telling a story. But hey, who knows? Yeah, we don't know any numbers. Let's see. Player count is lower than Gotham Knights. Yeah, I don't know. The PlayStation itself. Altern, what's going on? It doesn't help that you need a really good PC to play it. So I get why there's more people on console. We also need to play it with controller, and a lot of people that play on PC don't like playing with the controller or whatnot. So that's another thing. Yeah, but Travis, I don't think saying, let me bring that up so chat can see, or people on the internet can see. He says, player count means nothing, guys. Elden Ring had the highest player count, and it was still shit. But I don't think your opinion on that game is crap is different than other people, right? Like, put yourself in that position of, you like Suicide Squad, other people are crapping on it, right? It's not about... You have to look at what the industry has done with this game. Everywhere you look, I shouldn't say everywhere you look, majority of the places that you go look at reviews or have people talking about it, they say the same thing. It's like a trash parrot. Okay, they're talking about it as, one, it's not the Batman Arkham game that everyone wanted, right? Disrespectful to the fan base, disrespectful for the Justice League. They're crapping on Batman. It's all these like talking points of what it is, except what the game actually is. And that's a little weird. I was watching a podcast. I forget what the podcast is called. Hogue Law is on it. And he was talking about it in a way where he's like, look, no matter which way you look at it, this game is not a 5. Now, obviously, people have their opinions and whatnot, and someone could say it's a 1, someone could say it's a 10. He goes, fundamentally, this is not a 5. He goes, he even rated it like a 6 or a 7. He goes, but there's no way this game's a 5. There's no way that this is as low as Crackdown 3 or Redfall. Okay? Like, the fundamental problem, and the reason the IGN review, to me, the review, him actually saying the stuff that he says, look, I'm okay about criticism, but then he fundamentally says something so false and untrue that it decredited his whole review to myself. Okay? Now, I played Marvel's Avengers for 1,100 hours. I know that game inside and out and when the end game was and when it wasn't. And for someone to come in and go, well, this game has less content than Marvel's Avengers is so fundamentally false, broke, and untrue, okay? Because the end game for Marvel's Avengers was not even close to anything that you're getting into Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. So the IGN's article, his review, talking about the game and giving the good and bad about it, you know, that's pretty good. But when he said that Marvel's Avengers had more endgame content than Suicide Squad, I went, you, sir, have no idea what you're talking about. Because Marvel's Avengers had no endgame when it came out, and this game has much, much more endgame and stuff to do. What's going on, JoJo? Same. I have no bugs, no crashes, but it's definitely happening. My friend bought it, $100. Oh yeah, there's an issue going on right now. Doom Killer HD, who was real big in the Marvel's Avengers community, made some community events and whatnot. He bought the game $100. He played for like, I want to say he said 5 hours, and then something happened where he couldn't access the game. He's had all week. He paid $100 and couldn't play it all week because of some sort of error code that he was getting, and no one's helping him. From PlayStation's side, it's not his side, he says, and no one from Rocksteady's helping him. So, like, he paid $100 and he can't get his money. He can't get a refund because he put more time than to get the refund, but yet he can't play it anymore. It doesn't even load up for him, right? So that's shit, right? So there are problems out there. As someone who's playing Marvel's Avengers the past few weeks, that is completely false. Well, Altern, right now, if you play Marvel's Avengers now, there's endgame. But even the endgame that's in Marvel's Avengers now is less than what Suicide Squad has. I personally enjoy the game myself, but I do have stuff I don't like. I feel the boss fights are still samey, feeling that they're very anticlimactic and the same as you're waking up and shooting. I want to answer or comment to what you said, Rose, about the mechanic-wise, I'll say yes. They do feel samey, okay? But as far as anticlimactic, that's where the live service part comes in, okay? And bits and pieces of the story, if you were paying attention to the story, and I'm not saying you specific, I'm just saying in general, if you were paying attention to the story, you'll understand why they're anticlimactic, right? Them in the head, they could have came up with something bigger, feeling around more original. Jojo says, people are judging this game for what they want it to be instead of what it is. They instead manage their expectations, and they're very clear than what the game is and is going to be. I also personally feel the story is kind of weak. See, I don't think the story's weak in any way, shape, or form. I think the story is a mid-tier story, but I enjoy it for what it is because I'm interested in the characters and the superheroes. Now, as far as is the story like the best? No. I mean, I think I've already figured it out from the content that we're going to be getting. But to say it's anticlimactic, they literally made a game, and there's a balance here, right? There's a balance that they're trying to do, at least in my opinion, what they're trying to do with Rocksteady, is they said that this game is, anyone can play this game, right? So if you are a single-player person, you can play this game, go through the story, have a good time, be entertained by it. It's like going to see Fast and Furious in the theaters, right? It's just a fun popcorn flick or whatever. Now, if you're a DC comic aficionado, as I'll call them, right? Where you know every ins and outs of what it is. You think that this is a disrespect because, and it's a shit story because of everything that came before and all the things that you know about the lore and whatnot. So that's why people are saying that it's kind of mid type of thing, right? But the story itself is actually telling a story, but it's also telling a story because it's also a live service game. And because it's a live service game, they have to say certain things and do certain things because at the end of the day, it is a live service game attached to the DC brand, which is trying to make the story coherent, but at the same time, able to continue on to keep you coming back, right? Now, the landscape of gaming is a completely different form, right? From where Destiny came out and what we are today in the landscape of video games and live service games, people might just be tired of live service games. But the money and otherwise, people say otherwise, because a lot of the live service games are top games right now in the industry, right? So you can't blame the industry for chasing it because that's what everyone likes. I'm happy for everyone having fun with the game, the dude says. At the same time, those who are not having fun have been screwed by bugs. That is bummer, man. And I can't say that in the gaming in 2024. True, dude, right? True. And here's the thing, right? I always say, make a game, sell a game. The make a game part that I always talk about encapsulates, be passionate, do what you want, okay? Make the game. Stand behind what you want, make a game, finish that game, and then sell that game. And they've done that here, right? In my opinion, Rocksteady stood behind what they wanted to make. They made a game. Now they sold that game. Yes, there's problems because of the servers, and that's not me making excuses. This just goes into the pipeline of all other games that have had issues with servers and whatnot. Hence why over a year ago, we were like, make this an offline game. Make this a offline game, which they are making, but we don't know when it's coming into it. Travis says a certain degree of all comics is mid-tier stories, and their core superhero stories are more power fantasy than nothing more. Well, I think another problem here, Ron Slusher says, I'm enjoying Suicide Squad. That is all. There you go. I think the problem is that people are pushing back against this, just like when Empire Strikes Back first came out back in the 80s, people were pushing back because they were like, they didn't. Now you look back and people are like, Empire's the best movie. But when it came out, everyone was like, that was a downer, right? The bad guys are winning. Okay? Sarge touched on this on Thursday night, right? As a society, we like the good guys winning. We like shit on bad guys, good guys win, and that's what it is. And when you go against that form, people don't like it. They don't like it because they like those characters or whatnot, right? Even though there's people that like the bad guys, the majority of people don't like bad guys, and they don't like bad guys winning. Okay? See, in this game, people are blaming the Suicide Squad for killing the Justice League. But literally the bad guy, which is Brainiac, which is worse than the Suicide Squad, killed the Justice League because he brainwashed them and took them in control, and then the Suicide Squad has to take them out, right? But people skip that part. They don't look at Brainiac. They're like, whatever. The Suicide Squad, they killed Batman. It's like, did they? So is the zombie dead? Or when I shoot him in the head, then he's dead. Did I kill him or did the virus kill him? Behemoth Titan says, I hope the DLC is not a reskin of Green Lantern and Superman. But it is. You can see already, based on what the game is, Titan, and what they showed, before I even start this next sentence, did you play the game, Titan? Did you play the game and beat the game and see the ending of the game? Because if you did, I don't think you would have typed that sentence. And I'm not going to speak until you answer the question. It's going to be a hell of a show. Yes. So then why did you type that sentence? Why did you type that sentence when you already know the answer? You know the boss fight was a reskin of the Flash. And you know they already showed Green Lantern and Superman. And you know that there's 13, right? You know there's 13 of them. So, of course that's what it is. Dave Rose says, I definitely, Travis, I'm still enjoying the game, and the gameplay is great. And the mechanics, just disappointed by the story and the league's battles should give bigger and bigger mechanics, or bigger and better mechanics. Mr. No says, Sweet Baby Inc. made a game, Rocksteady published it. This game is a feminist propaganda. You know, Mr. No, if you look at the world like that and say that these people are the ones that made this game bad or whatever, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, we're talking about the game, and you're focusing in on the culture war here, and that's not what we're doing right now, right? No, a single bullet to the head after beating Batman, pissing on the Flash and Wonder Woman gets a heroic send-off. Again, I have a question. If you don't like Suicide Squad, Mr. No, and I'm asking you, if you don't like what they did with the game, 1, did you buy the game? 2, did you beat the game? And 3, if you didn't like it and you didn't like playing it, then why are you still watching content of people talking about it? What's that going to change in the fundamental scheme of what you're trying to do? Seriously, the question. Not getting mad in any way, shape, or form. Straight up question. Why are you still watching content of people talking about it if you don't like it? Let's see. I'm enjoying the game. 3 days straight of playing it, maxing out the squad, and there's a story that was good and what they was, and got enjoyment out of it. Jojo says that really draws me into the game is rich in color, a lot of going on in the screen, and it's really colorful. Except, you're answering him. Eric Jones says, I haven't played the game. I've seen meh to me, and the story is not for me, so I won't buy it. But if you're enjoying it, go ahead. Secret Matrix says, Sweet Baby Inc. means nothing me because everyone is saying that they are a woke company, and they are probably true, but they worked on Spider-Man 2, God of War 2, and they're both fantastic games. No, yeah, you got to pick and choose, Matrix. If a game company worked on one and it's a woke propaganda, but they worked on those 2 games that no one has a problem with, you got to pick and choose, right? That's what those people want you to do. Big Mo says, this is fucking Suicide Squad. They hate those characters, so what did they did in this line of the way and feel about them? Exactly. Ron Slusher says, hey, there's been a game and nobody's complained about. No, that's the answer. That's the answer. The game will change over time, no? So we should it really be debating here is if the game is fun enough to improve built upon. And that's it, dude, right? Everyone's taking it, and as a review process, obviously take the game as what it is. But a lot of reviewers, if you read the reviews saying it's not the Batman game, and they're knocking points off because it's a live service game and they don't like live service games, right? The game will change over time. I already read that. Eclipse says, I just can't wait for the story to be complete because it feels like it's going to get a great comic book story to go back on. Here's what's going to happen, Eclipse. I'm gonna put my fingers to the head, and you know what that means. That means I'm going to predict something. The story's going to switch and change, and then the narrative will change with it because the people see the characters are changing because the people didn't like it, and now Rocksteady is listening because they're going back because of right. They're gonna shift it because they're gonna think that the story's not already written and done. They're gonna think they're switching it because people are pushing back on it instead of letting the story breathe. Right. This is like chapter 1 of a novel series, but they're gonna take the win. They're gonna take the win because it sucks, and they're gonna take the win when it gets better. Love the convo while I'm at the gym, bro. You're welcome, Mr. Luke. Enjoy your gym. I just hit mastery rank 60. Game is starting to get tough solo. I'm at, what am I at? 30. I think I'm at 34 for the Finite Crisis, and then for Mastery rank, I'm only like 13. I think 13 is my highest so far. And I'm 64 hours into the game right now. Travis says, serious question, but do you think that Helldivers 2 has any of the same hate? Oh, no. They've already framed it. That's a $40 game, so all of a sudden people's judgment goes way down. 2, there's no story in that game. No story. Right? People played it early, and there's no story for that game. So there's no story. It's going to be random scenarios that happen. It's going to be very light on content in the very beginning. But people will say to you, well, it's okay because it's a $40 game. But it's a live service game, and it'll get better over time. But people will be fine with it because it's a $40 game and not a $70 game, not a $100 game. We the people say, good morning, 30. I've watched you with Lono for a while. Finally found your channel. Well, I appreciate you stopping by or staying around. Randall says, no, I'm not a fan of Suicide Squad and not buying it. I'm watching today because I like you and find you entertaining. I could care less about the game, just listening to the task. Well, that's understandable. At least you didn't say that you're shitting on the game and stuff like that, and you didn't play it, and then bring in other propaganda stuff. You know what I mean? Helldivers looks like it could be fun, but looks very generic. And that right there, JoJo, is the difference between... Because if you take Suicide Squad, okay, and you call it Super Squad, and it's not made by DC, nobody gives a shit about the story of... let's call Batman Birdman, okay? And Birdman is not known by anybody, and Harley Bin shoots Birdman in the head, and everyone's fine, right? Everyone's fine. They'll be like, it was a pretty good story. I had a good time. But because it's DC, because it's Batman, because it's Harley Quinn, and because it's a live service game, people have a problem with it because they're shitting on their IP. Generic game, fine. Generic game is like, that's a pretty good game. Known IP, that's a problem. They may do a Final Fantasy and blow up the world. Well, I think there was a sneak peek, right? We know the world's blown up. You're going to Earth 2, and Earth 2 is just fucked. Is it not? Krebsy says that the best stories out there are the ones that carry weight, such as Game of Thrones, Infinity War, Lord of the Rings, Breaking Bad, etc. Yeah, but you say that now looking back at those, right? I feel like Suicide Squad introduces the multiverse to early before a world could be established with weight. It's always easier to compare things, Krebsy, to those big IPs because that's what it is, right? People know what Lord of the Rings is, Infinity War. When Lord of the Rings was first establishing, a lot of people didn't know what Lord of the Rings was. They're like, what is this? But it caught on, and now there's like this world of Lord of the Rings, right? Tolkien did such a great job. Now, not everything could be a bestseller, blockbuster film, best game of the year. We the People says, I've played the hell out of this game, but also love Gotham Knights. I did not play the original Batman game, so maybe this is why, but I love both of these. We the People, I played the Arkham series, loved it. Loved it, okay? Nobody can take that away from me. I also played Gotham Knights, and people shit all over Gotham Knights, and I was like, this is a good game. The story is not a fantastic story, but it's a good story. And the combat in that game is fantastic. The open world element of Gotham Knights was a good game. I wish that game was a live service game, or they kept putting more content. I have videos. I started this new channel, 30NSG, based off of Gotham Knights, talking about how they put Endgame, what they could do with that game. I absolutely love that game. It's a shame that it didn't do as well, because, again, that got judged on not a Batman game and 30 frames per second. Not for what the game was. Can't call him Birdman. There's already a Birdman. Birdie Man. All right, there you go, Mo. It's Birdie Man. There's no Birdie Man. Veteran Gamer says Helldivers already has a community. The last game lasted 9 years. You can play Helldivers 1. Yeah, but it's a completely different game now. Right? The developers said themselves they didn't have the budget to make the first Helldivers. It was a top-down third person instead of over-the-shoulder third person. So yes, there is a community behind Helldivers, okay, and it's not a generic brand anymore because there was a sequel. This is a sequel to the first one. But it was, when Helldivers came out, again, was a generic brand. It wasn't an IP attached to it. Still valid today. Not scrutinized because, right? It wasn't scrutinized because of the IP that it picked from. It made its own name from it. But that's not what happened. These characters have 75 years of established history. Completely different. No, it is completely different because Rocksteady took their characters, and this is why it's in the Arkhamverse, in my opinion, and not the DC universe. You see? The problem that people have is that they love Batman Arkham. And everyone's like, why did they pick Batman Arkham? Why did they pick Batman Arkham? Because if they didn't pick Batman Arkham, the universe of Arkham, okay, then more people would be shitting on the DC universe because they didn't get it right, where they made the Batman Arkhamverse and they told the character's story within that universe itself, right? Hence why they went with the Arkhamverse. Who the hell plays looter shooters for the story? I do. I do. You think people are playing Destiny 10 years later because they're looking for the looties and shooties? No. They're invested in that story. And they play that story, and that's why they're still buying the DLCs, because they got to finish the story. The looties and shooties is the frosting on top of the cake. The cake is the story. Eclipse says, I can't believe IGN gave the game a 5. And what the cutscenes and the facial animations and the dialogue that's worth more than a 5 itself. Veteran Gamer says, Suicide Squad was introduced in the wrong way. I played a lot of it, but less players and lower scores than Avengers. That's in my opinion, it's not because of the game. It's because of what the game isn't. And it says in all the reviews, it's not a Batman game, and they're judging it because of the looter shooter. The process of the end game in Marvel's Avengers is better than Suicide Squad, which is bullshit. Bullshit. Jay Breezy says, did you see the reviews on Steam? Very positive. And now everyone's saying that they're removing negative reviews. It's amazing to me. Like, the people that play the game enjoy the game, at least the population, right? But reviewers don't like it. But again, reviewers don't like looter shooters. Digger Matrix says, Batman died in the comics, no big deal, because he came back, but he dies in a game and everyone starts to riot. That's right. That's right. That's exactly right, Mo. That's why they picked the Arkhamverse. Everyone's like, I can't believe they picked the Arkhamverse, right? Here's the best part about this whole thing with Rocksteady. Rocksteady's first game was a shooter, okay? And the people that are fighting, they're like, I can't believe Rocksteady left what they're known for to make this type of game. If they didn't leave the shooter genre that they had to go make Batman, you would never have Batman, right? So now they leave Batman because they made a pretty damn good series with Batman to go back and make a different game, and everyone's like, that's not what they're known for. Well, originally they were known for a shooter, and then they broke the seal and made a separate game, and it was a hit. So obviously they doubled down and tripled down on it, and they said, you know what? We're done with this. Let's move on. But people can't let it go. They would rather have a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and then complain later that this is not as good as 1, 2, and 3, right? That's what they would rather have. I think it's likely that Justice League from other Earths are going to survive like Lex 2, and other survivors will resemble the Justice League in Earth 1. Masta, that's exactly it. And if people that were playing the story, I'll tell you what. Here's my theory when I was watching the thing, okay? This is a little bit of spoiler territory, so if you're... I'm going to say something about the first fight, which is against Flash. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to shut the chat off, okay? Just so you guys can, right? The chat's off right now. When the chat goes back on, it means I'm done talking about the spoiler, okay? I'm going to talk about the Flash fight in the very beginning real fast, okay? Little spoiler warning, okay? So in the beginning, Flash, you're captured by Green Lantern, okay? Flash comes over, knocks Green Lantern out, and Green Lantern says to the Flash, Flash, how did you escape? Now, why would he have to escape if when the creatures just take you over instantaneously, right? They showed it on the screen. They show you of the aliens. He says it hurts like hell is what Green Lantern says. Okay, but why would they have to capture Flash if they just got him and then did what they did to him to turn him? Okay, so then you save Flash and you're trying to get Flash back from Batman and from Green Lantern. And while you're getting Batman, Boomerang cuts off his thumb. Okay, which is a running theme throughout the whole thing now, right? Cuts off his thumb. It's like, oh shit. Now Flash is missing a digit. Okay, now obviously Flash can regenerate by whatever, but it takes time. It doesn't grow back like instantaneously. He's not Wolverine. Okay, but he can heal himself. Cuts off his thumb. And then just a couple of hours within the game itself, it takes place over hours, not days or weeks, okay? So the Flash fight that you have, Flash has his thumb back. Well, it's amazing. How does he have his thumb back if he lost his thumb? Well, easily, because that's not the same Flash. That's not the same Flash, and you can connect the points because even Brainiac becomes the Flash, right? So he's using the Flash. He's using the Justice League, hence why there's infused bad guys in the realm that you're fighting against, because these are not the real Justice League. Now, this goes into much more of the story that I'll talk later, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody. So, there we go. That's just one of the examples I can tell you about all the other ones. I'm sorry, but the people buying Helldivers 2 on PlayStation don't know anything about Helldivers 1. You know what? Before I agree with you, let me look up something. I just want to look up something. Okay, Helldivers 1 sold 1.9 million units sold. That's in its lifetime in 9 years. So I would say, yes, you would be correct, Eclipse, that the majority of the people that are playing Helldivers 2 they didn't even know about Helldivers 1. I didn't know about Helldivers 1, right? I say the reason people are playing Destiny is due to how smooth the gunplay is. Oh, really? So when you go to the thing and say, well, I'm still playing Destiny because I have to see the cutscenes through, the story through, that's not happening through the whole thing. People are not upset because the story got changed, right? The majority of the population is PvP and gunplay. Now, the gunplay is very smooth. You're absolutely correct. But people are invested in the story. They're not invested in the smooth gunplay. Has anyone said why the founders of Rocksteady left before Suicide Squad game launch? I think it would be interesting to know. I think they didn't leave before the game was done. They left before it launched. Now, the game was supposed to come out in 2021. I believe they left in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, or at the end of 2021. Okay? So I would assume that they left because the game was done, and they're like, okay, we did our part, and now we're moving on. If the multiverse didn't exist, the heroes dying would have more weight to them. I'm happy that the heroes died. I just with what they would have gotten more creative with the deaths. But why can't we let the story play out? Right? It's a comic book story. Why is it different in a comic book than a video game with a comic book story? They're comic book characters. That's what they are. Right? Why is it different? It's a comic book story. Give me 1 second. I forgot my water. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Justice League goes up to the ship to confront Brainiac. Brainiac does whatever in mind control. The Justice League flashing, being quick and escape quick. Once under control, B has the DNA to make clones. Well, yeah, there's audio logs and stuff in the thing, Krebsy, and talks about what they did. We could create a Helldivers 2 squad, respectful, and doing real co-op tactics. Yeah, that's mostly going to be people shooting you in the back of the head and killing you, because that's what the game is. That's what it is. And you can't play single player. You have to play with other people. You can't play solo. Kevin will always be my Batman. How unless he's voiced more lines and they bring the Justice League back in the future content. And I feel like it's also potentially as a transition for another voice actor. Pool, I think Venom Pool, I think you are correct on that. And I think this is one of the things that had to happen. All right. I think, again, I don't know. This is me speculating in more of a theory. Obviously, Kevin Conroy did his role and did what he did. And then the actor died, right? Marvel had to deal with this with Chadwick Boseman, with Black Panther dying. Threw a giant wrench in what Black Panther 2 was going to be, and they had to switch it around, right? Kevin Conroy, which I think voiced Batman, I think maybe had more voice lines, but I think maybe behind the scenes they had to adjust now because the actor, which is Batman, died. So do they bring Batman back and then make him like, uh-oh, it doesn't sound like Kevin anymore because it's another voice actor? And I think this leaves it open to the Elseworlds where Batman can still be alive and now it's a new Batman voice, right? It doesn't even have to be a person copying Kevin Conroy's Batman. It could be literally a different Batman, okay? It could be a variant of a Batman. It could be another Batman. So Batman in this realm is dead. And 100%, and I think that could be because the actor died and they had to change a couple things, or that was their plan all along. I don't know. But they 100% can do that. I mean, for $70, I want a complete story, looter shooter or not. It is a complete story. The story is killing the Justice League. Check. The story is complete. You killed the Justice League because it's a comic book. You read the comic, and at the end of the day, the comic is done. They killed the Justice League, and now issue 2 comes out and it continues the story, but they've already killed the Justice League. Now they're going on to something else. Krebsy says, yeah, in the comics, people exploded also inside and out, blew up, a huge explosion, etc. Because comics, like games, have creative freedom. Shooting someone in the head, in my opinion, isn't peak creativity. Sure, but they also didn't show you on screen any of the deaths. None of the deaths did they show you that they actually died. We need to do a spoiler talk ASAP about the story. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it tonight. You know what, Jay Breezy? We could talk tonight when I'm playing at 8 o'clock tonight. I'll be playing the game. And I'll put in the title, talking about Suicide Squad, spoiler. And anybody that wants to come in, just be open to spoiler talk. And we can start going back and forth what we think and stuff like that. We'll do that tonight. I'll put it in the title, spoiler. Talking about Suicide Squad story, and we'll play the game as we go through. Thomas Wayne, Batman, let's go. I'm a little annoyed about the no story and friendly fire can't be turned off. Oh, for Helldivers? Is that what you're talking about? I would wait, Travis. If you're not sure about Helldivers 2, just wait. Don't buy it day one. Talk about the story, and I'll be on play with you. Yeah. We'll talk tonight. Arkham's just another universe that they could fuck up and restart. There's no consequences because it's a comic book game. They do whatever they want. But isn't everyone's pissed off that Rocksteady picked the Arkhamverse because they love Batman, and like I hate to break it to you. The actor actually died. There is no more Batman Arkham. Kevin Conroy's Batman is literally gone. Right? And that's because the actor's gone. So even if they brought back another Arkham video game, it's not going to be the same Batman. I mean, these are facts. Roadkill says, and then it's not even done. More story coming. Exactly. Okay, I'll run with that. We don't know, and we're actually that they're actually dead. They couldn't even they throw Batman into a modified Batmobile, send him to the autopilot, into a tank, then have him go boom. I mean, isn't that what they did in Gotham Knights? Isn't that what they did in Gotham Knights? Gotham Knights, literally, Batman comes... Everyone was pissed that Batman died, and I was like, he's not dead. Then he comes back in the end of the game, and then he dies again. And you know what? I still don't think he's dead. I still don't think he's dead. Why? Because it's a comic book. Comic book people die all the time, and they come back. People are so upset about the weirdest things. That's right. Batman isn't dead. He got shot. He's not dead. He's napping. No, I'm Batman. I'm Batman. You're not Batman, dude. I'm Batman. It says right there. It says, I'm Batman. Here's the thing. You know what's funny? I think this story of Suicide Squad is better than any DC film we've gotten in the last 5-6 years. I think this story in this game is better than the last 5 years of DC films. Hell, I'll even say the last since even Marvel. This is a better story than what Marvel's done in the last 4 to 5 years. Oh yeah, look, here, I have it pulled up, right? This is the end screen, right? Look, season 1, there's Joker. Season 2, it's a Mr. Freeze, Mrs. Freeze, whatever you want to call it, right? I'm not sure who this person is in season 3. And season 4, that's Deathstroke. Not a very high bar anyway. Doesn't matter if it's a high bar. Still better. I was wanting a more creative death. Weird. Didn't we want a more creative send-off to Black Widow? The difference is we know this is not over. We know this is not over. Remember, it's a bad example, but it's an example. Remember when Star Wars Episode 7 came out? Everyone was all like, yeah. And then at the end of 7, we're like, oh man, looks like a great setup. Right? And people were excited. Then Episode 8 came out, and everyone was like, and they were pissed off. Everyone's pissed off now before they even know what's happening. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is episode 1. We're waiting to see what the story is. This is the story they've told thus far. If the next season comes out and you're like, and those are the people that are invested. The people that care about the story are the people invested. I have a question, Krebsy. Did you buy the game? The only people that the story counts for right now is the people that bought the game. If you didn't buy the game, it doesn't fucking matter to you. Because you didn't support the game, which is fine. Don't support what you don't want. Be honest, 30 people are being pissed at the game for being good. Just mad because the game is better than D4. Look, people like D4. I said I'm not going back to that game until season 4 when they actually fix the end game stuff. Because the end game stuff is broke there. The end game stuff in this game, not broke. Not broke. Half the people, you know what? More than half the people that are complaining about the story didn't even play the game. They're taking bits and pieces of cutscenes, okay, and not the full context, okay, and they're complaining about the game. Fine. It's the only game I've played since launch. Oh, you're talking about Suicide Squad? You know why I don't talk about the comic books? Because I didn't read the comic books. So if someone comes in and goes, oh, this is from this issue, I'm like, cool, I don't know. I can't complain or what. I can't be different or what because I didn't read the comic book. Mr. Luke says, I love the story. Best comic book story. We had me laughing out loud. Scared the shit out of me, too. What part scared the shit out of you, Luke? I played it. I have complaints about the story, but I also haven't finished it yet. Look, there's bits and pieces of the story that I do have an issue with, Rose, but at the same time, I know that the story is continuing, so to give my qualms about the story, I have to wait for the story to finish. And the story is not going to be finished, just like Destiny. Okay, I can't comment on what they ended, what happened in the beginning of the game. I can comment about what the story is, but now it makes more sense because of more story came out for Destiny, so it makes sense. You don't need to buy something to have an opinion on it. People here aren't part of the of Congress, but they still want the voice heard and the opinions of things. But Krebsy, you're talking about the story that you didn't play, you didn't buy. Sure, you can have an opinion, but your opinion is going to be a lot less on the chart than someone that actually played the game. These are also facts, okay? Everyone has opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them. But your opinion on the hierarchy of opinions goes way down when you didn't purchase, buy, or play the game. Both Batman parts were so good. I really like what they did pre-fight of Batman. But the Batman fight itself was underwhelming. No, Travis, you can talk about the game. You don't have to keep your mouth shut. It's just that if you give your opinion and you didn't play the game, it comes off a little weird because you're fighting, and I'm not saying Krebsy, people are fighting for a game they don't even know what the story is. They watched a clip, a 30-second clip on Twitter, or they watched the thing, right? And they're putting pieces together, but they don't know the actual context. None of us actually know the full story yet because they haven't told it. People talk about the power ring for Green Lantern doesn't work. And this is the way that you're, and yeah, you're right. But every universe is different. So Brainiac messed with their DNA. Well, here's the best part. There's literally comments during the actual thing that happened in the world. And if you're paying attention, again, I'll talk about tonight instead of right now. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but it's talked about. But the aficionados, as I like to call them, push up their glasses and go, "That's not how it works." Well, that's not how it works in the comics. And yes, they're doing the comics, but you got to let them finish the story. I mean, let's be honest. If it worked like it did in the comics, why even make the game? Why even make Suicide Squad kills the Justice League when the Justice League would just murder? Like, literally. Superman could go dead. Right? Flash even says, I was gonna carry you and speed force you and just have your skin ripped off because of your friction, right? Man, that would be a hell of a game, huh? Well, I'm a character dead. Oh, let me go again, dead. Let me do it dead. Like, what are we talking about? Let's say this is the 80s, okay? Timmy is playing the game on TV and I'm watching him. I see every minute he plays. Only thing I'm doing is physically playing. I know cover to cover what happens. But I didn't physically play the game, so should my opinion not matter? It matters less. It matters less. You can watch the game, but not playing it and not buying it, your opinion's less. It is. And if you want to throw in, well, what about people that get codes and stuff? They play it. Right. Everyone's opinion matters, especially in this day and age. Everyone's opinions matter. Okay? But in my case, your opinion's less because you didn't buy or play the game. Hence why I don't talk about games I didn't play. I'll give you my opinion based on the article that I've read, but I'm not giving you my opinion based on the game I didn't play. I talk about stuff that I know. I don't talk about stuff I don't know. And if I don't know something, I say it. I don't know. Because even if I talk about stuff that I didn't play, my opinion is less because there's more to it than just watching what it is. Hell, there's people that played the game are like, oh, there's no pickups in the game. You can only get gear at the end of a mission. False. Well, there's no end game. False. All the things are the same. False. Veteran Gamer says, if you don't buy the game, your opinion easily could be someone else's opinion. Absolutely. Because if you watch other people's videos, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, this and this. The ring works. Animals and people with strong will can use the Green Lantern ring without accept of the core. Examples, Batman, Green Arrow, they use the ring without being a member. Sure, but if you watch him pick up the ring, at the time that Green Lantern, I can't say tonight. Tonight we'll talk about more of spoilers story stuff. Okay? You know what I don't like? IGN uses Kevin Conroy to throw shit into the game. Throwing to the last performance was wasted. Well, there's a problem with there's a problem with people's opinion pieces, and there's a problem when they're associated with IGN, or I shouldn't say IGN, but with a bigger conglomerate, right? There's people that write articles and their opinion pieces, but they also are publishing it under the IGN. So then IGN gets wrapped into that type of stuff. And this is me not defending IGN, but again, people can feel and say what they want with their opinions of things. But to use it to click, I don't even want to say clickbait. To use it to persuade people to hit the content because they're content engagement, right? There's two parts to this. IGN is a business. They make money based on ad revenue, on clicks, and whatnot. So they have to put stuff out there that people engage with the stuff. Now, there's a problem with journalism when they take stuff and they... My problem with IGN is not the 5 out of 10. The problem with my IGN stuff is that they say things to preemptively buff it in the beginning. Like, they're like, well, this is not the Batman game. And they're judging it because it's not a Batman game. They're judging it because it's a live service game compared to other live service games, but they're not really judging it for the live service, what they did with the live service, right? They're taking points off already because of what it isn't instead of what it is. I'm directly talking about cutscenes that you can only watch if you're the same someone giving the thoughts on TV show that the person who actually plays the game would matter on the gameplay talk. No, Krebsy, because while you're playing the game, there's dialogue happening, right? There's dialogue happening. There's tapes that you can listen to. There's all this stuff. Sure, you can watch and listen to all this stuff, and you can have an opinion. It's just your opinion is less to me because you didn't play or pay for the game. I'm talking for myself, right? You can watch all the stuff, and you can have an opinion. But the people that are playing the actual game and putting the hours in, and there's different context in there, right? There's different context in that. There's little things that you're hearing when you're just watching something and you're not really interested, because if you were interested, you would have bought the game, but you're not really interested. So you're doing something else while you're watching the thing. You're doing homework, checking your phone. You're doing something other than just. Man, this is a really good game. If it was so good, then you would play it. I watch TV sometimes in the living room with my family, and if I'm not interested in a show, I'm watching it. But I'm also doing this, right? Oh, what did it say? Oh, 3 months ago. Okay. I'm caught up now. 3 months ago. Uh-huh. Right? IGN has road to hate boner for Suicide Squad for years. They get surprised when they get a review key beforehand, and I think it's totally unprofessional for the outlet to shit on the game before they play it. Well, it's funny. I watched the podcast they talked about, and within the first 2.5 minutes, they brought it up 3 times that they had to pay for their game. I had to pay for the game. I had to pay for the game. Don't worry, I'll reimburse you because we had to pay for the game. Okay. As a consumer, I don't give a shit if you paid for it or got a code for free. Just make your fucking review. I don't care that you paid for it or you didn't pay for it. Now, if you want to put that a little preemptive in front, well, we bought this argument ourselves in our review. We were given a code, and none of our opinions are swayed by because we got given a code. Hey, have you heard about the updates of the issue of getting past the WB sign-in page? I have not. So a lot of people I know are dealing with that, and I think mostly on PlayStation. I know it's happening across the board, but there's some people that can't log in. I brought up Doomkiller HD earlier in the podcast, or earlier in the show. He hasn't been able to play it, and that's just brutal because he can't get a refund, and he can't get it to work. No one can help him. So he paid $100 and he can't get a refund, and he's played like 5 hours. I love that WB did not not giving review codes. Everyone knew that IGN and Young Yeah, who was always like trashing games and he also didn't work on Skill Up, etc., were going to smash the game just because. Well, Skill Up was hopeful for the game, and look, I totally get the criticism that they have, but they're also, I watched all the reviews. They're also not giving it what they're doing well. As a live service game, what the end content is in this game is much better than any other live service game that came out on day one. The end game on this game is much better than Destiny, Destiny 2, Division, Division 2, Anthem, Marvel's Avengers, and all the other games that came out. The end game. I'm on PlayStation 5 too. This is the point. I just wanted a refund, as a lack of acknowledgement is disrespectful. Yeah, and here's the thing. And again, I'm not in any association with them. This is the only thing I'll say about companies like this. One, I hate when you can't get in touch with anybody. Like, if you have a problem with your phone company, no one can reach out to you. If you have something with Google Prompt, like something happened to me with YouTube on the back end, and I couldn't get in touch with anybody, and it infuriated me. No one could help me, right? And it pissed me off. I'm still dealing with it. It's been 35 days, okay? And I'm on their platform. I'm technically an employee of YouTube. I'm contracted, right? Or freelance, but no one can help me, even though I'm making money for them and they're making money for me, but no one can help me. So I get the frustration, okay? But it's opening weekend, okay? It launched on a Friday. Sure, there's a team in there that have what's going on. Now, I don't know if you know, but when a game launches, there's a shit ton of stuff that they're doing on the behind the scenes, right? Hence why a lot of games don't reference anything. Now, could they do a better job? 100%. They need a refund or do something with these people that can't play the game, because it's unexcusable not getting back to them. Okay, they got back to us real quick when the servers went down. They gave 2,000 coins in game to help those people. Right, basically they gave back the amount of money. Right, it's 2,000 coins, but it's $30 or $31 of the currency inside the game. So basically, they gave the deluxe edition back to those people that paid for early access and couldn't get it. The company needs to say something, but them not saying something, I understand for the opening weekend that they're pressed up against the wall. But this is where community managers come in, where the community manager needs to say something or do something so people know. Just don't leave people hanging. Yeah, my buddy is having the issue with Xbox Series X. He wanted a refund, and they told him no, because he spent over 2 hours. Yeah, it's bullshit, Rose. Caboose is shilling. He deflects all arguments when people bring up the valid points about why they didn't like Spider-Man, and then he throws insults. I've been patient, put a ticket in with the video, and then screenshots. Yeah, that's all you can do, and again, I hate that companies don't ever get back to you, and they just pass the buck. They pass the buck. I remember... It's $20. It's not $20, Mo. You want me to prove you? Yeah, let me prove you. Let me prove you. Let's prove you. Moment of silence. Let me show you how much the 20 costs in the store. Watch, I get the bug all of a sudden. Make sure I'm back in the States. I've been back in the States. I'm pretty sure I went to the... We'll see. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. Because you might be right. I might have looked at it last week when I was plugged in, when I went to New Zealand. But I'm a person that's okay apologizing for stuff. But I also want to make sure. Nope. I'm correct. 2,000 coins is $31.95. I don't believe I'm still in New Zealand. Let's check, shall we? Oh, I am. And see? This is why... And see? And this is why. There you go. Let's restart. And I apologize. There you go. I'm in New Zealand. So I am wrong. So they give you 2/3. They give you 2/3 of your money back. So wait, what did they pay in New Zealand? So in New Zealand, they're paying an additional $15? Travis is inviting me to the game, and I'm not even playing, Travis. I'm not even playing. What do you have it like set for automatic invite? $116. Jesus. Now, why is it mine? That can't be. Why does it still say it? We just rebooted our Xbox. Let me quit. Apparently, they gave me more money. It still says $31. You know what the funny part is? I probably won't ever spend it. I probably won't ever spend it. I have V-Bucks that I don't even spend. Just by earning, by playing Fortnite. Oh, I had a weird bug last night. Right? So I beat the killing time thing, right? I came out of the event, and my screen went snow white. Like, just white. The prompts would still pop up on the screen, like you would see, but the screen was all white. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't do anything. I was like, interesting. I had to close down the game and put it back up. It was weird, right, B? So, like, you would see, like, the prompts of, like, hit X, and they would be clear as day. But the whole game behind the UI was completely out. I was like, what is this? There you go. We're back in the U.S. That was a hell of a trip. We're back. $20. $20. It's like Back to the Future. Screen 2 and the servers were Screen 2 and the servers were also so delayed at midnight. We played the other day. Me and Water were playing the other day. And Water, I don't know if you were getting this problem when we were playing. I was hitting things, and there was a good 10 seconds before it initiated the actual hit. Like, I would hit them and move on, and then everyone would die. When we were doing the Brainiac fight the other night. Because we did a... What level did we do? We did a Mastery Level 13 Brainiac fight. Which, here's my criticism of the game. Pretty underwhelming. Because Mastery Level 13 is the same as the regular game. Because my power level is that high. So it's like if I was this level here and now I'm this level here, it's the exact same. It didn't feel more difficult to me at all. So I'm a little disappointed in that. because I thought there would be different mechanics. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought for sure, let's say like tornadoes would happen on the lower level, and then all of a sudden a bigger tornado or different mechanic would happen. It was the exact same mechanics at Mastery Level 13 as it was at Mastery Level 1, which is at hard difficulty, which is at normal difficulty. I'm a little disappointed in that. I redid the fight, Mastery Level 15, and went smoother. I just don't like that it's the same mechanics. All right, let's go over to this this first an hour into the show. Let's go to this first That's not what I wanted. Where is that? All right. So inside Warner Brothers Games, big live service push and doubling down on DC Game of Thrones, and more franchises. So I got to try something different in YouTube. So I have always put the links in the description below, okay? But for some reason, YouTube doesn't like pushing my videos out because of the linked. They don't like the links in the description. So I put down below which sites I got the stories from, right? But the links are not going to be in the description because I want to see if YouTube will push this video more than it does normally. It's a test. And because YouTube, it takes a while to do tests, letting you guys know. All right. All right. Inside Warner Brothers Games, big live service push and doubling down on DC games with Game of Thrones and other franchises. The WB Discovery Chief, who can't go one earnings call without boasting about the power of the company's rich trove of IPs, used the Q3 address as a chance to announce plans to level up the video game division, which says constantly enjoying amongst the highest ROI of any other business. Okay, this is where Zaslav loved the franchise meets his plans of domination of the nearly $200 billion gaming industry. While smaller than some of the most leading pure-play gaming companies, namely Electronic Arts, Nintendo, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, as well as publishing competitors Sony, PlayStation, and Microsoft Gaming, Warner Bros. Games has managed to comparable operating margins as punching above their weight class, and thanks for the IPs company values at $1 billion apiece in the gaming world. Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and DC, and Mortal Kombat. There's, quote, a very consistent message coming from the executive layer of Warner Brothers Discovery and the importance of the franchise. He says, President of Warner Brothers Interactive tells Variety, there's a unique, important role of games and also keeping the franchise relevant. Resonates and existing because there's plenty of fans and plenty of people consuming content where games are and the starting point. Now, the two franchises of WB Discovery profited from the most of in 2023 are Mortal Kombat and the release of Mortal Kombat 1, which sold 3 million copies since the September release, and Harry Potter with last February launch of Hogwarts Legacy, which now has crossed over 24 million copies sold as the best-selling game of 2023 worldwide per Warner Brothers. Okay, so there you can see Hogwarts, Call of Duty, Madden, Marvel, Legends of Zelda, Diablo, Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat, Star Wars, and EA. So EA's got 1, 2 on there, 3 on there with Jedi Survivor. Warner Brothers has got Hogwarts and Mortal Kombat, 1 and 8. Not bad. Not bad. So those impressive sales figures caught Zaslav and CFO Gunnar Windefels, who focused on reducing Warner Brothers Discovery's massive post-merge debt, enough to signal the industry of the gaming division and the company's new darling in the patch profitability. Now, he says, quote, I've doubled and triple-checked some of the metrics here, and this is also great investment opportunities. He says, during a third quarter calling, adding stunned that even haven't been investing more into this opportunity, we're going to start tackling that. Okay, so as you can see that, what is this? Publicly traded companies by gaming revenue. Okay, 10 cents up there. Sony's up there, and then it starts to go down. Apple, Microsoft, NetEase, Google, Activision, Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Nintendo, and then Take-Two Interactive. Now, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, Global Streaming of Gaming, JB, period, a variety, and the key topping of those numbers and figures outweighs to make the prized IP more than just one great hit every 3 or 4 years. Okay, he says, quote, "We want to be always on, and there's good news if the gaming space is lending itself to that. This is why they're doing live service games." Okay, the executive is referring to the success of big franchises that have been recently in the offering, not just splashy console and PC video games, but also live service, mobile, and free-to-play titles with all of the same IP universes. He says that the combination is what we're looking for. Build out for each of Warner Brothers' most valued franchises, but Warner's gaming titles are on the long cycle, and the plan can't be delivered on in 2024. Okay, with the focus shifting from console to PC-based games with 3 to 4 year release schedules, a good example is expected more from the Warner Brothers' mobile games like Game of Thrones Conquest, which also checks that always on box and keeps the TV franchise fresh in people's minds between TV shows. Now, he says the success of the game means that we're constantly looking to see what else we can do in the game of the Game of Thrones and now House of Dragons world, which is one of the biggest, most popular audience franchises. Okay, so obviously there'll probably be a Game of Thrones video game coming down the line, but their mobile game, Game of Thrones Conquest, is doing quite well for them. So this is why they also keep in the mind, I say this all the time, cross-promotion, right? It doesn't matter if it's a video game, a TV show, a book, comic book, right, a movie. They do the cross-promotion, where all of a sudden you're playing, let's say Suicide Squad, and all of a sudden you want to go watch Suicide Squad the movie. Or you're playing Suicide Squad, and all of a sudden you want to go back and watch Batman again, right? It gets you fresh in your mind. When it comes to expand the DC-focused gaming offering, they're also looking for DC studio chief James Gunn and Peter Safran, who also announced plans to incorporate video games into the revamped canon moving forward. Now, I talked about this over a year ago. Okay, James Gunn came out and said about the Elseworlds. Okay, now all of a sudden the Elseworlds have always been in the DC universe. Okay, but James Gunn talking about the Elseworld is different than just saying that in the comics the Elseworld is different universes. They're talking about the Elseworld in a way of they're going to do crossovers from the movies to the TV shows, from the TV shows to the comics to the games, and they're all connected somehow. Hence why Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League could be very interesting going forward, right? I talked about this last week when the game came out, or weeks before. I said if in 2025 all of a sudden Peacemaker Season 2 comes out, even though it's John Cena, okay, playing Peacemaker, they could do cross-promotion and bring Peacemaker in the game. Doesn't mean it has to be John Cena. It could be John Cena, but it could be just in the game because it's cross-promotion. New season coming out, Peacemaker in the game. Not saying they're doing it, just saying it's more possible that they would be doing this. Okay? It says, frankly, there hasn't been close of a relationship between the studio and the game's business as there should have been. And James is actually a gamer who haven't been someone who's passionate about the super helpful. Okay, adding to Warner Brothers games is actively working with Gunn and Safran on the core franchises within the DC universe. It says, however, the plan isn't to be religious about what they're creating across divisions. While they're working on Superman movie title, they're not going to launch a Superman game purely because we feel obligated. Okay, we have to do something that makes sense for the gaming strategy for fans, for the consumer. Right? So again, just because they make something doesn't mean they're going to put it in, but it's there. So in the 2024 prediction report, it says analysts drew a strong correlation between the success of the films and TV shows and their offering of video games based on the same IP, noting that several of the top 50 grossing films for 2023 have corresponding hit games. Their analysts estimate that the share of the theatrical box office revenues from video games IP will double by 2025, and the most of the top streamers will be home to show base of games at the point of following the massive success of HBO's Last of Us, an adaptation of PlayStation game of the same name. Now, Westcott notes that there also estimates that based on the current trends, one of the main reasons there's so much interest in doubling down on gaming, there's another piece of the industry that's noticing that it says it's about time. It says, quote, if you look at those companies that have a large streaming platform, they're dealing with 3+% per month churn on those subscribers. Okay, with live games, there's one of the gaming industries now talking about have a very, very small churn rate compared to streaming. So you're seeing more and more of streaming players saying, why don't they add games as part of the entertainment offering? Games have lower churn rate, and music has a lower churn rate. And it's also been recommending it of our clients. This also think about the offering of a whole new slew of other types of digital entertainment. Why not have their podcasts and their digital books and their games and their streaming video under single, more bundled subscription? As a head of both streaming and gaming, of course, they love to see Warner Brothers games come together in some form. However, Max needs to learn to walk with the TV and film programming before it can run with the games. We have a lot of ideas that we think about natural collaboration and should be able to come with the forefront. The reality is, step one in the max process of doing the basics better. As part of that, of our energy right now, is the first 2/3 of 2024 is just around getting to max launch and replatform and the consumers around the world. We look at later 2024 into 2025 and the free up resources in the energy engineering that can start experimenting with some of the ideas that we have between games and streaming. So everyone wants this game to die, right? Everyone wants, well, I shouldn't say everyone. The people that hate Suicide Squad want this to fail. And regardless, WB and Suicide Squad and Rocksteady are here to stay for at least 2 to 3 years, because the plan that WB has, at least in my opinion, is that, look, Anthem lasted 2 years before they said, we're not going to continue supporting it. Avengers lasted 3 years before they said, we're not supporting it. There's no way, in my opinion, especially with Warner Brothers' plan in the future here, that they're going to stop this game and all of a sudden this game is dead within the next 6 to 8 to 10 months. Okay, they're going to stick what it is. They're going to keep doing what they're doing because the game's already finished and made. Those things, that content's coming. Okay, they have 20 months or 24 months worth of content ready in this game. Inside the game itself, they show you 6 seasons. Okay, because if you got to the end game, you'll know what screen I'm talking about. With the Finite Crisis, they show you what the remainder seasons. There's two baddies every season, and they show 6 seasons. So Suicide Squad, even if it has a bad turnout right now, is not going anywhere. They have the investment already. They've already pumped in the money that they're going to pump into it, and they might even pump even more into it to see what happens when the new movies come out, when the new TV shows come out, and the new comics come out, and then also keeping this game going because that's what they want to do. Also, Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy, the game's done. It's been out for a year. Are they going to make DLC for it? Or are they going to move on over to the next Hogwarts Legacy 2? They could turn this into a Hogwarts Legacy online type of thing like Grand Theft Auto, but who knows, right? These are just my thoughts. Now, with all the time money spent on Hogwarts Legacy in 2023, the main gaming franchise that focused on expanding this Potterverse, this includes the previously announced title featuring Quidditch, the Wizard sport that sadly got left out of Hogwarts Legacy, currently in beta testing in phases. Okay, I played that. It's actually pretty fun, but it's not part of Hogwarts Legacy. Coming up, Warner Brothers Games will be launching Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League on February 2nd, which this article is past that. Free-to-play brawler multiverses into the wide release. This game also features Warner Brothers' own characters ready to battle, which is the brawler multiverses, which came out in beta, got taken down for like a year, and it's supposed to come back this summer sometime. So it says the most legacy Hollywood companies have shifted their game business to licensing models. Warner Brothers Games remains the only major studio with an in-house video game business other than Sony Pictures, which works with the PlayStation corporate sibling under the Sony Corporation umbrella. Whether the better strategy than outsourcing it is questioned, is also going into 25 to 30 years, says Whitscott. He says, we also have been multiple studios try to bring in the house and realize that we're really hard to develop the AAA games and making big blockbusters. So why not just license the IP and have someone else who's really good at doing it? Well, I would say that there's not one single model that's successful. The question is, do you want to build the core capabilities within your own organization? Create high-quality games is a very different business than creating a television series or movie series, and it takes a whole different team, but Warner Brothers Discovery is clearly doubling down on the internal efforts and long-term plans of growing through the live games, mobile games, and also more selective console releases. Now, people might not like Suicide Squad, but the production value is very high, okay? Rocksteady, again, I trust Rocksteady for telling me the stories that they told in Arkhamverse, okay? They had really 3 great games in the Batman Arkhamverse, and they told really good stories. This one's yet another good story, in my opinion, okay? It's just different, but it's still a good story, and I think that going forward, Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, Season 6, I think we'll all connect, and at the end of this, if the game doesn't continue on after that and it ends on Season 6, so be it. As long as, when we go back and look at the entire progress and the entire story of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I think it'll be a good story. Okay? It says, when asked when the goals are, really that the macro goal is making sure that there's one of the most engagement at this time and fans possible, he says. Now, with more than 707 million hours of Hogwarts Legacy played in 2023, Warner Brothers Games certainly making good progress. So, again, Warner Brothers, out of all the flops that they have in the film industry, They have, so far, Mortal Kombat was a success for them for what type of game it was. Hogwarts Legacy was a major success for them. So if Suicide Squad is not a success for them, or doesn't become a success for them, Hogwarts fills in that gap, because it doesn't matter. Just like in the film industry, a company can release 10 movies a year. 3 of those films will make a profit. The other 7 will lose money for them. 2 of those movies will break even or just a little bit above, and then 1 of those movies will be a blockbuster, which covers the cost of everything else that they've done. But overall, the company will be profitable in the long run. That's what I think Warner Brothers is starting to try to do with actual video games. Now, obviously, they're not making 10 games within a year, okay? They're making a certain amount of games per year, and they want the longevity of those, and this is why they're going more towards live service, okay? They also have brands in the WB IP area, which is more comic booky and whatnot. They have tons and tons of characters that they can rely on in the DC universe to make single player games, live service games, multiplayer games. They can do a lot with this. So in the future, not only do I think we're getting a Wonder Woman game, but I think we will get other characters down the road. Gotham Knights still did pretty damn good for what it was. And I think that they're going to just make more games like that. There's a huge IP to go for. It's just, I think once the clientele gets away from, we just want another Batman game, and they start looking into like the Wonder Woman game coming, I think other people would start to go, oh, I see what they're doing here. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what we do here, make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, chat. Every subscription-based company right now is surrounded the one ring. Subservice will rule them all. They're all trying to jockey in less live service, please. But there's less live service games out there than anything else, right? There's less live service games out there than any other type of game that's out there, Jason. So there is less live service games. You're saying less, right? You want even if there's 10 live service, you want like 3. So I have a question though. How is this live service game of Suicide Squad affecting you as a gamer? I'm seriously asking that. How is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League a hindrance to you as a gamer? I got 2 Forbes articles that we're going to talk about here. Like how does a live service game that I have no interest in, right? Because if I'm a person, like I have no interest in Destiny. So if Destiny continues to make Destiny and they go into Destiny 3, how does that affect me as a gamer? Because Hogwarts Legacy was made. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, right? It's a single-player game, but I'll be like, oh, why are they wasting their time with Harry Potter? I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I know it's not a live service game. I just want to know, how does that live service game that I'm not interested in affect me as a gamer? Because there's people that are a fan of that want to partake in that stuff. 30, I heard you're going back to Destiny. What's your source? What's your source, Water? Because whoever your source is, they're fucking liars. If it was a live service Batman game, people would be eating it up. Oh, I don't know about that. I think if you switch the roles, Akuda Papa, and you make the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, if it was the Justice League kills I don't know. The Suicide Squad, people be like, oh, damn, how many bosses do we get to fight? Right? I think they'd be okay with it. I don't know. Also, the source was me. Then you're a fucking liar. Is this gamer a fan of Rocksteady? Because Suicide Squad could lock down Rocksteady for years, further pushing out the next game that said game could potentially like. So I'm sorry, are you minority reporting this? Is that what you're doing, Krebsy? So are you minority reporting this? Are you saying because this live service game is here, that they're potentially being held back on making a game they may or may not like? What about if they came out with the next game was a single-player game of Polka Dot Man? George says, live service has been demonetized. Not every games as service is like FIFA. Don't like it, don't buy it. Jason says, I'm just not interested in the business model anymore after being burned by Avengers, and I don't like hearing companies focusing more on the future. That's mainly where I'm coming from. No, I get it, Jason, but the big thing out of that I take it from you is that you were being burned from Avengers, and I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I understand. But looking back at Avengers, right? Looking back at Avengers, if it was done correctly, would you feel burned? Do you know what I mean? Right? If it was done differently, let's say Marvel's Avengers was done like Destiny, would you feel burned? And when I say like Destiny, I mean successfully lasting 8, 9, 10 years with the story and adding characters. You wouldn't feel burned. You would like it because you like Avengers, right? So you want more of Avengers. So as a gamer, you would like the live service game because it's a brand that you like and that you want to play more of it. But because it's a brand that you liked and it got shit on and not supported, that's why you got burnt by it, and that's why you don't want more live service games. Now, I get that, Jason. I get that, right? But to say that this game's crap because you don't like a lot, and I'm not saying you said this, but people in general, they don't like this game because it's a live service game. But the people that like the live service model, that they can continue playing this game, right? Continue playing this game because they like it. The people that don't like it, then you can go play something else, right? No, a single-player Weasel game is in the works. Oh, I can't wait for that. I got you, Krebsy, and I'm just reading. I'm just reading. What I'm saying is to look at it something like that, minority reporting it, as I call it, right? You're trying to convict someone of a crime before they actually do it. Okay? Because people don't want a live service game, they think that their next game is going to be the one, which you don't know that, right? People are like, well, they were working on a Superman game. They were working on a Superman game. And then all of a sudden, it's proven fact that they weren't working on a Superman game. Everyone's like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think they were. Like, it's when their narrative gets taken down, they're like, yeah, that's, sorry. That when their narrative gets taken down, they're like, I still don't believe it. These are good conversations in here. If you don't like the live service, you guys are absolutely right. But don't buy the live service, and then it will stop making live service. I agree. And exactly right. So the people that don't like a game, right? Like, I don't like, what's a game that's out there that's very successful that I don't like? I don't hate it, right? I'm not for Genshin Impact, okay? But I do see that Genshin Impact is very successful. And the people that like that game are playing that game and spending money in that game. It's not affecting me in any way, shape, or form, right? Because that company is making that game for the people that they like. Right? I'm not their clientele. Now, we talk about this all the time. Transformers comes out, the exact same game as Destiny, or Marvel's game, or DC game, or something that I'm interested in comes out. I might be interested in it because that's the IP that I'm interested in. Pepsi Gaming, the live service is not the problem. It's the lack of service in the game. But specifically for Suicide Squad, what is the lack of right now? What's the lack in the game right now that people are pushing up against, right? Is there a lack right now? It literally launched on Friday. We got more end game than any other game that I've known in the recent existence of the 9 years. Like, I don't buy Madden, right? I don't buy Madden. How many of you guys buy Madden out there? How many of you buy Madden out there? Or FIFA? Who in chat buys a sports game of FIFA or Madden? Right? I guarantee you, there's not many of you in this stream that actually buy that one. But at the same time, still very successful. Right? It's not hurting me because I'm not a fan. I used to be a huge sports fan. Okay? I just don't want to buy that game anymore from that company, so I don't. But yet there's always people. I always have my tissue box. Right? You pull that tissue out, there's another tissue there. Right? So I don't partake in that world anymore. I don't partake in the Call of Duty world anymore. I don't say Call of Duty is a piece of shit game, right? I just say I don't play it. I don't like the process. So from a standpoint of the developer, I don't like it. So now I'll put myself in the position, let's say I don't like Suicide Squad. I'll be like, you know what? Suicide Squad, I don't really like that Rocksteady is doing this. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And then I stop talking about it. And then I don't go watch the streams and shit on people that like it. I don't go to forums and shit on people that like it. I just move on. Right? I don't talk about the stuff I'm not interested in. I talk about the stuff I am interested in. But I also don't want Rocksteady to fail. And I'm speaking of personally. I don't want them to fail so they can make the next single player game. I would like to see what this game can be and what content they put into it. And they can shake the narrative of this is how you do a live service game. You know who does a good live service game? SnowRunners. SnowRunners does a really good job of a live service game. You know who else does a good job? Fallout 76. Fallout 76 does a really good job of a live service game. You know what other game does? Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves does a very good job at live service aspect. No Man's Sky does a really good job of a live service aspect of the game. Right? Not all live service games are bad games. Is Monster Hunter a live service game, Travis? You talk about Worlds, or you just talk about Monster Hunter in general? When I say live service isn't the problem, I'm talking about the whole industry. Live service is really, really good tool of structure that also the studios fail to understand what is required to make one. Here's another reason that live service is actually good for companies. It's less money for them to invest in, right? Now, as a customer, you might look at that and go, well, right, they're not spending the money. They're just trying to minimum viable product. But at the same time, if a game like Spider-Man, right, and this is not shitting on Spider-Man, I'm bringing it up because it's $315 million, okay? That's a really expensive game. And it needs to sell really a lot of things, especially on one platform, okay? If it was on multiple platforms, it wouldn't be a problem. But it's on one platform, so it's harder for them to hit it. They hit it, fantastic. But where does it go next, right? Where does it go next? 350, 400, 500, right? How much budget do they have to make that money back? Where a live service game, they can put that $300 million over 5 years, but they release that game in year 3, and then that content that's continuously coming out, they're making money back on it, and they can afford it as they go. Because if a company puts out a product and it costs them $300, $350, and then that doesn't sell, and then they, you know what I mean, at the initial part, then that's it. Make a game, sell a game. That goes across live service games, MMOs, single-player games, PvP games. Just make your game that you want to sell. If it's a good game, it'll sell over time. It'll make its money. Uh-oh. I heard Spider-Man. Let me bring up Starfield. Don't worry. I'm going to bring up Starfield right now. I'm going to bring up Starfield right now because... Starfield, everyone's losing their mind about Xbox. Xbox is going third party. They're putting all their games on the other platforms. What does this mean for Xbox? What does it mean as an Xbox fan? What am I going to do? They don't respect me. Like, what does it mean? Right? Like, I've been saying this from 2018, 2019. While everyone's having a console war, while they're saying that PlayStation's better than Xbox and Xbox is better than PlayStation, I said 5 years ago on GXG, you could go back and listen to their past broadcasts over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. A lot of content there. Okay. I said that Xbox is not playing the same game anymore. They're moving to Game Pass. Game Pass is their model, and whatever you can play their games on. They don't care if you play it on PC. They don't care if you play it on Game Pass. They don't care if you play it on a television set or a mobile phone. They don't care. Yet, here we are 5 years later, and all of a sudden, everyone else has got the smelling salt underneath their face, and they're like, what's happening? What's happening? Xbox is not making games just for first party anymore? All the stuff's coming. It's just rumored. But if it doesn't happen or does happen, it doesn't matter. Because you as the customer have more options to play your game. If you are a diehard Xbox person, okay, and you're like, I feel betrayed because Microsoft has not, I bought this plastic box, and this plastic box is supposed to be the God's gift to things. That's ridiculous. Okay? Because I could take my DVD and put it into a Sony player. I can put it into a JVC. I can put it into whatever. The player that you put your disc in doesn't matter. Okay? It's about selling the actual DVD or the film or the game. And Microsoft has decided if you want to play it and you still want to buy an Xbox, cool. Right? If you want to buy it and play it on Game Pass, cool. If you want to play our game and it happens to be on PlayStation, cool. Right? There is no downside as a gamer where you choose to play your game. But the fact that people are upset, right? The PlayStation fans, I can't wait. I can't wait for your PlayStation fans if they get a third-party game on your platform, right? And people start playing it. I'll be like, what's happening? What's happening, PlayStation? You're playing an Xbox game. How dare you? It's not going to happen. They're just going to play the game because now they can play the game in more places, right? Are you moving the goalpost? Wait, were ever any goalposts for Xbox? Sony and Xbox are making second-party games like Helldivers 2. My biggest issue with all those places are using the rumor to unknown sources happening to Starfield is coming to PlayStation 5. Right. But if it is or isn't Akuta Papa, it doesn't matter because Xbox is not playing the same game. Everyone's in this like old school mentality of boxes is what sells games. And Microsoft is saying software is what sells. Why am I going to build a box and have to sell? Look at the video game. We'll just give an example. If I make a game, it costs $350 million, I have to sell a certain amount, 8 million copies to make my money back. If I make a box and it costs $1 billion to make, I got to sell a certain amount of boxes to make my money back on that. Okay? Well, they're not going to make their money back on that. They make their money on the software. Hence why Microsoft, subscription model and services, that's why they're the richest company in the world right now. They don't make the products. They sell the software and rent you the software on the products that you buy. Game Pass isn't making the cash for Microsoft, so they need to go from somewhere else? No. Yeah, that's the old school mindset. You think that Game Pass is the console, right? Game Pass is one outlet for them to make money. You can rent it. You can subscribe to it. You can buy it. You can play it. It doesn't matter. It's one avenue to buy a game, to play a game, to purchase something from the thing. You could pay $480 for all those games that come out that year, or you can pay $20 and play them on PC and Xbox for the entire year. Like $20 every month. Right? 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 Everyone's like, well, they don't tell us the sales anymore. They don't have to. They don't have to. They don't have to please. They don't have to appease to you as the consumer. Okay? They don't have to tell you shit about how many consoles are being sold or how many things are being subscribed to, because all that is for customers to go, oh wow, that movie made $100 million this weekend. Must be a good movie. Oh, that game made 9 million copies this week. Must be a good game. Because Xbox isn't good at marketing. I think around 28 million people have Game Pass. That's what's funny. Who cares? There'll still be a $1 trillion company. Exactly, Dolphin. Yeah, but Xbox, once it goes digital, you'll truly own another game. That's happening regardless, Roadkill, right? We've had this conversation over and over. I have physical media in my hand, and I can't play it, right? Physical discs in my hand. Now, obviously, each their own. There's games that you buy still single player that you can still own. And then there's other games that you play that you don't own it. Right? If that's through delisting, if that's through licenses getting pulled, if that's for closing down servers, it doesn't matter if you have a physical disc or not. Go on, Stealth. Yeah, a lot of people think that all of a sudden Xbox is done. They're closing shop. They're done. They lied to their customers. Last time I checked, they're just making games. Microsoft has lost the console war, is now giving sub-services to publishing all the platforms to go in order to make their gaming division more profitable. But their gaming division is profitable. They are profitable. They're making it more profitable, right? As you're saying, more profitable, right? And again, you can still buy a disc on the console. You could still pay the subscription service. You can still play it on your television or the phone or your Xbox or your Switch if they go to the Switch or PlayStation 5, right? And I don't think all games are coming. I think it's a if it's a time thing, and I've said this for years. I said if it's out there for 6 months first and then it comes to the other console, cool. There's no difference in what time exclusive is. I have a copy of Warhawk, Mag, and SOCOM that are completely useless. Yeah. You don't own all your stuff. That's what we old guys in the business are like, oh man, I own nothing. Well, regardless if you own it or not, you don't own it anymore. It's gone. I have discs that I can't play anything on. Unless I still have that console, or I can hack it in some way, shape, or form, or download something off the internet to play it. Like Star Wars Galaxies. I don't even have to have the disc anymore, right? I have Star Wars Galaxies, but I can't play it on that disc. But I can go play Star Wars Galaxies because someone's keeping it up and running on a server. I'm curious what PlayStation crowd will say once they get play Starfield. Well, I'll tell you what, Stealth. If this happens, I don't know if it will, but if all of a sudden PlayStation gets Starfield and people on PlayStation start playing Starfield, if those numbers dramatically go up, then you know. Then you know. What I'm saying is Game Pass, their main selling point for the last few years hasn't met projections for 3 years. So they need to adjust their model because Game Pass isn't making the money. But how do you know that? How do you know they're not making money on Game Pass? Do we know their costs on Game Pass? We know that they want to make 100 million subscribers by 2030 because of leaked documents. But how do we know that they're not profitable? Because it's not meeting projections. Has Microsoft literally came out and said it's not meeting projections? Is there facts about this? Or is this the hearsay that it's not making projections? Because the last time I checked, they did make profit. Right? Is this the same people that said that Starfield's not going to sell? Is this the same people that said that no one's playing Starfield? I didn't say they aren't making a profit. Well, I mean, you did say that they're adjust the model because Game Pass isn't making the money. So, isn't making the money. Does that mean they're making a profit, but they're not making enough money? Or they're not making money, meaning they're below profit, below the line? I mean, the sentence you said was Game Pass isn't making the money. And I said, how do you know? Didn't the last report show gaming division making more than enterprise service and Windows? Yes, Prosy. But we don't know the number. And here's the thing. I don't mind talking about like the financials and stuff like that, and we can project and have conversations and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm just a gamer. And I truly don't give a shit if they make money or don't make money. I'm just buying and playing the games that I'm interested in. Right? Right? I go to my local hardware store. I buy hardware from them. Right? At the end of the day, if they go out of business, I go, oh, shit. That local hardware store's out of business. I pull the tissue out. I dab my eyes and go, I pour one out for the hardware store, and I go 2 minutes down the street, and I go to another hardware store, and I buy the hardware from them. Right? Right? If Xbox goes under, I just go play another game. On PC, on Switch, on an emulator, whatever. We know the based off graphs provided by Microsoft on where they could like to see Game Pass. Those graphs said that Game Pass should be X amount by this time. Game Pass is under the X number. Here's the funny part about graphs. I could show you a graph of what it said my YouTube channel was supposed to be at. And then I could show you where it is. Okay? Charts and stuff like that are just that. Right? Well, we made this much money today, so by this metric, we should be here at this point. But then shit happens. Right? And based on that number, right, all of a sudden, look at Disney Plus. Disney Plus launched their thing, and they said they wanted to hit 100 million people within 5 years. Okay? Then the COVID thing happened, and all of a sudden they hit 100 million in like 9 months instead of 5 years. And now they're hemorrhaging because now they're losing people because they're not at that number. Okay? Now, their first projection was they wanted to hit 100 million in 5 years. Now, I don't know what they're at now. But once the projection of 5 years passes and they're below that, then that's a loss or whatever. But if they shot past that for 4 years and then lost it 8 months before, and then they're below 100 million, they still made profit. They still were successful because they shattered what the projections were. Shit happens. Right, 100%. Shit happens. All right, so let's talk about this. If Microsoft gives Starfield to PlayStation, what does Xbox become? Let's find out, shall we? Things are escalating quickly on Xbox rumor mill, which are most less rumor and more likely official policy of Microsoft has not yet figured out how announced the situation quickly spins away from them. Now, while it all started to report a data mine confirmation of Wi-Fi or Hi-Fi Rush is coming to PlayStation and Switch, it has now grown to a point where apparent massive shift of Xbox's entire game philosophy is on the way. Their game philosophy was more games, more places, wasn't it? More people to play more games. Wasn't that their philosophy? I could have sworn that's what the drum was being beaten, at least for the last 3 years. Reports that it may release the biggest games of the generation so far as Starfield. Oh, now it's the biggest game of a generation. PlayStation 5 and sometime coming this year. And past that, they're doing the same with Indiana Jones and The Great Circle via The Verge. Now, just a preview auction from the Machine Games. Now, I'll focus on Starfield as repetitive for everything else because it's probably the single biggest Xbox exclusive of a generation, likely higher profile than even future titles like Perfect Dark or Fable. And the biggest until Elder Scrolls 6, I imagine, but the Xbox giving it over in PlayStation would be like The Last of Us or God of War Spider-Man being passed across the aisles, which would clearly never happen. So why is Xbox doing this? I have a question, because God of War and Spider-Man have been passed across the aisle. Why do people not look at PC as a platform? Why is it that people do not look at PC as a platform? I don't understand this. Is it because the narrative of they're just talking about consoles? Like, a platform's a platform. PC is a platform. Console's a platform, right? And within that platform of consoles, we have Microsoft, PlayStation, and Nintendo, which is like mobile as well. Okay? Why is it always not mentioned? They're like, it's never been across the aisle, but it is. God of War, Last of Us, Spider-Man are all on PC as well. Is the sky falling over at Sony too? Because if it's falling out over here, it's got to be falling over there as well. Okay? This seems to have leaked out because in some sort of internal strife within the Xbox about its plan. About there's cases for or against, and the main idea for Xbox has lost the console war for 2 generations now, and they're going to just stop pretending otherwise. They have repeatedly said that the future in the service is bringing Xbox games to as many people as possible. On the other player side, Xbox owners still get their day one Game Pass launches, and PlayStation players now get the same games eventually. Win-win. Except that there's now being received more widely. The concept raises so many questions. It's hard to know where it starts. For starters, it would make a premise of buying Xbox for Microsoft promised a big lineup of exclusive relatively pointless, and players who have already bought it into the ecosystem based on Microsoft's stated plans about big future games are undoubtedly upset at the result. But why? As a gamer, why are you upset that someone else gets to play the game that you're playing? I don't understand this. Why am I upset that you get to play a game that I also can play? Because I bought it out of the box? I was lied to. Starfield. They told me Starfield was only going to be on Xbox, and now it's coming to PlayStation. Well, do you own a PlayStation? Do you own a PlayStation up to this point? No? If you have a PlayStation, now you can go play it over there. And if you have an Xbox, you can play it there. If you have a PC, you can play it there. If you don't have it, and you bought an Xbox because of that, then what's the problem? You played it on the Xbox. Okay? It says, the ecosystem based on Microsoft's stated plans about the big future games is understandably upset as a result. Why buy an Xbox for Xbox games when you can buy a PlayStation and get the PlayStation and Xbox games? You still got to pay. It's not like it's just coming over to PlayStation for free. You got to buy the games. In terms of Microsoft's goals for Game Pass, how does that further that? Presumably, something like Starfield is just going to be offered for sale for $70 on PlayStation, so this does nothing to increase the game's subscription, only to give less reason to buy an Xbox in the first place. But why does Microsoft care? Right? Why does Microsoft care if they sell less Xboxes? That's less money out of their pocket that they have to produce a box. They could literally just sell the stuff to other companies and make 70% of everything instead of 100% of nothing. Do people understand how businesses work? I'm not sure they do. It's also a signal, perhaps, that Game Pass is not quite as healthy as Microsoft lets on. And to justify the enormous development costs of the game like Starfield or Indiana Jones, it turns out you need to sell it for $70. They sold 6.5 million. They sold 6.5 million copies of it on Steam alone. And it didn't cost as much as, here we go again, because I'm saying Spider-Man, not to shit on it. Spider-Man cost $315 million. Starfield, I think, cost $250 million, and it sold 6.5 million just on Steam, and other people bought it on Xbox, which is over 7 million copies sold. Spider-Man sold 6 million copies, and they have to sell 7, right? Which they think they will. No problem about that. So why is this a problem? I don't understand. So now they want to sell more of it. It makes no sense to me. Okay. So it turns out that the people outside of Xbox Game Pass ecosystem, this is specifically makes Starfield feel like a failure and makes it feel like a failure, but it's not a failure. That needs extra juice from a direct rival, or the lack of confidence of Indiana Jones will pull its weight without a wider release. Okay. There's also a sense of Xbox community, something Microsoft has cultivated for decades now. Rallying the fan base will also suits them, but it's also for even if they can't argue, it's a good business. Essentially destroying the loyalty. Years and years of Microsoft saying, bear with us, through the rocky Xbox One generation, and some level of hope and the new development of the big acquisitions would give Xbox games it needs to compete, and now this has happened. But it is competing. This is not about console sales anymore. I don't understand why people keep missing the point. Okay. It feels like an all of nothing situation. There's some idea that maybe applying to big Bethesda-based games like Starfield and Indiana Jones, but not the core games like Halo. Oh, but wait, maybe the Master Chief Collection, and maybe this is the other game, or that game. At this point, players are going to have no faith in knowing what is actually being Xbox Game Pass exclusive, or going towards the Microsoft as just picking and choosing randomly, or saying that this thing changes their mind later, in which this happens right now. With this, Xbox essentially becomes a third-party publishing brand for some reason, still makes hardware, but also they want to subscribe to Game Pass. But you don't need an Xbox for that. And you also need to be exclusive games anymore, either maybe just early access or not, who knows. Microsoft is supposed to be explaining all of this soon, but it also doesn't think this will be the spin it makes to be it sound like a good idea to me. This feels like an endpoint of a failing cultivated meaningful exclusive compared to rivals in the way of overplaying their hand of Game Pass. This happens. It's not just be at the end of Xbox, but it'll also be the end of the form it takes of 4 generations now. I don't think in any way, shape, or form this means the end of Xbox. Okay? Because if you want to buy an Xbox, you can buy an Xbox. Why would you buy an Xbox? That's a completely different story. Maybe you don't have good internet and you don't want to play cloud gaming on your Samsung TV or on your mobile phone. Maybe you already have a PlayStation and you didn't want to buy an Xbox, and now you don't have to buy an Xbox if this all goes through. The fact that people are upset that the game that they... I'm trying to put myself in this scenario here. If I'm a huge Xbox fan, right? If I'm a huge Xbox fan, I have an Xbox. I've been playing on Xbox for a certain amount of months and years, and now they say that we're moving all this stuff over to the other consoles. As an Xbox person, why do I care? Now I'm like, oh, cool. I already have the Xbox, and now more people get to play. Right? Like, for instance, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a third-party game, but it's cross-play. Right? So as a gamer, I'm happy because now I get to play with people that are my friends that are on PlayStation and also on PC, and we can all play together. I don't see a problem with this in any way, shape, or form, because as a consumer, why do I care if the hardware store goes out of business? There's another hardware store. Yes, competition. Okay? I'd be more worried about the competition because now PlayStation has to fight against Nintendo because they're in the console war together, right? Even though before Nintendo wasn't in the console war. It was just PlayStation and Xbox, right? And Nintendo was just over there. But now if Xbox forfeits and leaves the console war, PlayStation has to pick on somebody, so they have to go over to the console wars of Nintendo. Okay? So good luck to you with the new console wars, but Microsoft is going to continue on because it doesn't matter about the business if they make the hardware or just make the software, because they're still making money across the board, and they would rather make 70% of everything, of the additional 200 million people that have PlayStation and Nintendo, than make 0% of that while they're over here. Okay? These are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think about Xbox if and when they happen to take all their console games and move them over to third-party games? Is this over for Xbox? Is this the end of the world for Xbox? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. If you like some of our other videos, please check them out here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I don't know, chat. Let me see what you guys are saying here. 90% of what I play on my Xbox Series X is Xbox One and 360 games in my backlog. Because being upset gets clicks. People hate too much, 30. I feel invalidates the choice somehow. Yeah, I don't get it. Just upset that Travis might play 600 hours of Starfield and call it mid. I'm sorry, that made me laugh so hard. Look, I hope Travis gets to play 600 hours of it. I do. Crowded House says, Mike, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League drama is outpacing Starfield. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, it's just weird, Crowded. We spent an hour talking about it in the beginning. Sony didn't even consider PC a platform until recently. When they realized how much money they're losing, PlayStation fans do not buy games. Not me saying it. It's Sony does. Right? Like, PC's a platform. PC's been a platform forever. No, it wasn't really 600 hours. It was 300 or 400 in Fallout, something like that. Same people upset about Starfield is going to the other platforms are the same people who said Xbox getting Activision Blizzard is good because more gamers would have access to their games. How is Game Pass healthy or not? It's just them collecting money. Right. Why do I care if Game Pass is healthy or not? What's 28 million times $18.99 a month? It's over 400 million. we do know that was it 2/3 of the people that have Game Pass are playing on PC, and they're paying more than the people just playing on Xbox. Same thing. Let's see. PlayStation is blocking Game Pass. That's a reason. People just want to bitch. Let me see what else you guys are saying. There's no competition is important. I'm a PS simp myself, but a weak Xbox would make PlayStation toast and their lack of competition. Absolutely. But this doesn't take away, if anything, right? Look, the hardware doesn't make the company. Now, Sony, on the other hand, and I've been saying this for years, Sony is doubling down on the hardware. Hence why there's rumors now that they're making another mobile device, right? Sony has to sell the console. And when they sell that console, let's just say they make the best console ever and it sells 200 million units. That's it. You're not getting more than that, right? And that's huge. Because no system has ever made 200 million, okay? But let's just say I'll give them the 200 million. Then they have to look at that clientele that makes the 200 million, and then they're going back to the same clientele. The same clientele that has a PlayStation now has to go buy the PS Portal, okay? Then they have to go buy the VR headset, right? Then they have to go buy, this is the same exact thing that Nintendo did in the past, right? You got the gun, you got the glove, you got the robot, you got the goggles, you got the thing. They did all this. You have to keep selling the peripherals to the same player base that owns your system. Microsoft is doing none of that. Microsoft says, you want to buy the box? Cool. You have a handheld? Great. You can play our games on your handheld. You have the other handheld? You can play our games on that handheld too. You have a phone, you can play our games on that phone. You have a television set, you can play our games on that television set. You have another console, you can play our games on that console, right? And that's the difference. And we are still stuck in this, well, they don't have a console. The only reason Stadia sucks so bad is because you had to rebuy all the games on your new console. If I played Stadia, I had to buy the exact same game over again that I already owned on either PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, or PC, again, so I could stream it. Xbox is saying you can stream it cloud, you can play it on your thing, you can play it on your console, you can play it on the other console. Come on, Argus. PlayStation is now working on a handheld. Game over, Xbox. Game over, man. No, Sony's handheld has ever done well. Yeah, the what was the one before? I think the PSP. Was it the Vita? The Vita didn't do very well. What was the one before that? Xbox was crying in court about the PlayStation uses their 30% cut to hurt Xbox, in turn puts games on PlayStation. I don't think they'll also move the exclusive to other consoles. I think they'll certainly still have exclusives set up for like the next 10 years. We're also at all the exclusive, all the platforms, all at once phase. I spent a weekend playing Suicide Squad. I'm very much enjoying it. I think it's a pretty decent game. I take a risk and even said it's a good one. Personal taste. Oh, absolutely. 400 hours and stand by the stories mid-game. Actually, better than I remember. Let's see here. Sony games coming to PC means more money in Papa Microsoft's pocket. Gotta have Windows to play a PC or PlayStation games on PC. I don't think you have to have Windows, but I get what you're saying. They're making it harder to leave the ecosystem. Are you going to drop all these accessories, your library, your friends, etc.? Yeah, it was PSP, right? Just to show the hypocrisy of the media and Sony fans. They went from beginning for Xbox games to now Xbox is going third party. It's over. Xbox is going out of business. Yeah, it's weird, RJ. PSP sold like crazy because it was good. PS Vita didn't sell so much because of the selling micro SD specific for the Vita. It was also expensive than normal ones. Yeah, I had a PSP. I could have sworn the PlayStation, like it did really well. Water's like, I think Suicide Squad is so bad. I've only put 35 hours into it since launch. I have 60, I think I have 63, 64 hours in. I think the whole sky falling thing is just kind of weird, you know? Hold on one second. I want to bring up. All right. So I want to go back to Suicide Squads for a second, right? Because I took a screenshot of the thing that popped up yesterday, right? Well, the other day. And this is the end game in Suicide Squad. Okay. Now, inside Suicide Squad, you have the new support squad missions, which you could say are the same, but they're higher level and there's gear that you get. There's killing time. There's Metropolis invasion levels. There's mutators on all of the stuff. Okay, there's incursion missions. There's Bane Infamy set to go for. There's new Notorious items to go for as well. And then there's mastery levels. Okay. For someone to say that this game has less endgame content than Marvel's Avengers is smoking crack. Okay. If I just name one thing here, one thing, okay, killing time, just the horde mode, okay, just the horde mode is more endgame than most games had in the live service aspect when they come out on day 1. Kudapapa says, 30, can you risk playing them on Linux if you want to get your Steam account banned by using emulators? Basically, you have inject code emulator DirectX, and you'll get caught by ban or cheating. All right, so you have to use Microsoft? How do you people know that Suicide Squad is bad if they didn't put 100 hours into the game? Somebody play 100 hours if you know the game is good, does not exist anymore. Yeah, I can't tell you if it's good or bad yet. I have 64 hours in. I'll let you know when I get to 100, and then I'll comment on it. I'll turn. Channel from nothing to something is so bad that I've grown a channel from nothing to something. What are you at now, Luke? What are you at now? From starting a brand, right? You started a brand new channel? Take it with a grain of salt, but supposedly Phil will be addressing the Xbox games on the platform stuff today. Okay. And when he does, talk about tomorrow. Tonight we're going to be playing Suicide Squads because it's good. I have a pretty good... What else did I take a screenshot of? I took a screenshot of something else. Capture. Oh, this is what happened. This is what I saw the other day. Oh no, that's my son took a picture of that. That's a different game. Berserk? What was that? What was it called? What the hell was he playing? I forget what he was playing. Let me show you something here real fast. So my character, I have a Harley Quinn build going on right now. That I got most of my stuff eliteed. Now a lot of people don't know what elite is. Okay, Besieged. Travis, thank you very much. My son was playing Besieged. I don't know what the hell it was. Some game where you like create like contraptions and like blow people up on the screen, something like that. Go on, feed. Besieged, good game. I don't know if it's a good game. He likes it. So I have my build right now, right? So I'm going with a frenzy build. I still need to find some things, but I got my SMG, which I'm not really happy with yet, so I'm not doing anything with that. I have a mastered snapshot, right? Because there's mastered gear as well. Okay, mastered gear as well. Then I have Two-Face Persuader. I'm doing melee damage, 33% melee damage while shields is full, 50% melee damage to infused enemies. Okay, every melee hit on a crazed enemy has a 50% chance of giving drop either a live grenade or grenade ammo. So this is perfect, right? So what I do is I throw my grenade. It makes everybody crazed. Then I melee them, and it drops me a grenade. Okay? And while I drop the grenade, okay, so I do grenade damage, 10.5% more grenade damage. Okay? And then if I hold it, it does the Venom Frenzy. Okay? Then with this one, the Unlucky Coin, you gain 750% increased damage to specific afflictions for 20 seconds. This affliction rotates between Diablo, Blaze, Deep Freeze, Live, right? So you can also gain 250% increased damage for that as well. Okay? On this, I do 22% grenade damage to the brute enemies. Okay? And I do 50% damage while shields is up at 100%. So I see a brute, I throw my grenade, I have full shields, I do additional 22% grenade damage to them, plus I do additional 50% damage while my shields are up at 100%, so I go after them first. Okay? Here I do an additional 14% damage to the brute enemies as well. And then this one, while there are 4 or more crazed enemies within 20 meters of you, you deal 100% more damage and take 50% less damage. So you see where I'm going with this build, right? So I throw my grenade, okay? I throw my grenade. And when I throw my grenade, everyone becomes crazed. From that, I can do a bunch of different things. I can do my melee, okay? Every melee hit with the crazed enemy has a 50% chance to drop either a live grenade or grenade ammo at any enemy's feet. So I get that. Okay. My gun, critical reloads, okay? 3-stack, unleash a wave of Venom Frenzy that crazes all enemies within 20 meters, okay? It also does critical damage. It does 11.5 damage to grunt enemies with this firearm. It also does damage to frozen enemies with this firearm. If you notice, my melee hit, when I hit a melee hit, it also freezes people. Okay? There's a lot going on in this game. And for someone to say that the end game is bad or doesn't have, and it's like, well, what's the point? All I can say to those people is if you don't have the drive to play the game because you put the game down and you're like, the regular story was boring, I'm done. Cool. But to say that the end game is a bad end game is just ridiculous, because the end game in Destiny when it first came out was nothing. The end game in Division 1 was nothing when it came out. The end game in Anthem was non-existent. The end game in Marvel's Avengers was non-existent. Okay? So for someone to say that this game has no end game, literally has no idea what they're talking about, because there's so much between masteries and synergies and villain, right? There's just so many things you can go for and do. Now, there's a completely different conversation if you say, well, it's very repetitive and I don't like this, the same things that you did before in the regular game. That's just a personal preference. If you think it's boring, and I mean, you can't sell anybody on that, right? You like a game or you don't like a game, you're not interested in it. I heard Destin say it the other day that he's like, I see people, and I give credit to him, right? Because he's getting a lot of shit on the internet, but he keeps playing it because he's like, I see people enjoying it, and I want to know what they're enjoying. This is it. This is it right here. I'm trying to stop eliteing my weapons until I find a max stat weapon. I think it's going to happen, Luke, but I like to elite the weapons so I can do certain things. Like, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the master weapons, and then I'll make them elite, right? So if I go over, to other characters, hold on, loadout. Like I have everything over here eleted for him, but he's got a master black mask bullet storm. Okay, I have a lot of master. So if I go here, we have a lot of mastered weapons. Right, hole in one master health kick. Eagle Master Leg Day. Balance Master Mysteriously Illness. Precise Master Combo Meal. Like, I have a lot of masters. Once I get the master, I delete everything else. Yeah, my SMG is not a master, though. Right? This pistol is a mastered snapshot. Maybe the right word is that it doesn't motivate people to do it. Also, I don't know if it was me, but I feel that it was too easy for me. I think the reason it was too easy, Veteran Gamer, and I'll agree with you, when we played the Flash fight and all the other fights, I think I died once or got knocked down. Yeah, no, I failed Superman once. But once I understood what I was doing, it was fine. Brainiac, I don't think I failed during our Brainiac fight, right? And yeah, I think it was easy, but accessibility, I think, is what they're trying to go for. I think as a live service game, I think they had to balance it out where the core is going for the loot, right? And the levels that are there, mastery levels, and it gets pretty rough in the mastery levels and the other things. During the regular game, yes, it is pretty easy. How do you turn off gifted? What do you mean turn off gifted? In YouTube? Is that what you're asking, Jones? I'm not sure. Brad says, I like to see the exotic weapons have more of an identity. For example, the Bizarro weapons just have a Bane perk on them. Why? Let me see. I have... Black man. Isn't there the Bane weapons, right? Yeah, Bane Rage. I mean, when you click on the Oh, that's not what I wanted. They want you to have the gear set. The thing that you're getting, Crowded, right? They want you to have the set. So when you have the crazed on there, right? You get pure 2. It's like division, right? It's like division 2. If I get a tier 2 piece on this, enemies have a 100% chance of spawning a rage zone. It can only happen once every 5 seconds, and when you absorb the rage zone's power, it triggers Bane Rage, which increases all damage dealt by 100% for 20 seconds. And then if you have 3 pieces of gear on you, then now it also increases the grenade damage by 200%, right? So that's huge. I'm going for tier 2, tier 3, so my Harley Quinn can have that grenade damage because you saw my build the way I was building it. I'm not sure, Jones, how you shut it off. I can't get gifted on YouTube because of my brand account, so I don't see that stuff or know how to do it. I'm trying to figure out because they gave me, and I got to figure out how to do it because inside they let me gift people, but I don't know how to do it. So they've given me the option now to gift 10 members a month, and I don't know how to do it. I got to do research on it. I need that skin. Each tier has a different bonus. The skin. Oh, for this, yeah, you get this from doing the unlocking the Riddler stuff. I have one more Riddler thing to do. I got 3 stars on everything except this one over here. This is the only one I don't have 3 stars on. I only got 1 star on that one. So how does the end game work when you beat the game? What do I do? A bunch of stuff's gonna pop up on the screen, Rose. Once you're done with the game, that green screen I showed before with all the stuff, it's gonna show you. It's gonna show you the finite crisis. It's gonna show you the raging hell. It's gonna show you a bunch of different stuff. It rotates. Things come on the screen. So right now, like I have these things, which are different than the ones I had before. Because now I'm in tier 2. Because you go up in mastery levels in each of the stuff. So I'm not there, but if you click on it, if you want the tier 2 set, you have to go past level 10. It's like up to 10. I think it's 9, and then 10 starts tier 2, and that goes up to like I think 19, and then you have to go up to the next one. I'm trying to buy my own again. I'm not sure. I think you have to do it in the settings tab or something like that. Because you have to allow it. So I'm not really too sure. Jones, the best way I could say is if you can't figure it out and someone gave you a gift and you want to pay for your own, and again, you can gift one out to somebody else if you can't figure it out, right? So I guess like, you would be paying for yourself. I don't know. I'm just letting you know. But I think you do it in the settings. Again, I don't know because I have a brand account, so I can't receive a gift or shut it off or turn it on, so I don't know. I need 1 trophy to platinum the game. It draws a complete tier 3 Bane set. Nice. Can't wait for Team Up tonight. This game is so instantly fun. It's a lot of fun when you play. Mike, attack Suicide Squads. I need to get 60. I'm away. You know what I don't understand? Can someone explain this to me? Can someone explain this to me? My score, okay, does not move. You guys are at like 593, 566, right? How many hours? Hold on a second. How many hours do you have? Character stats. Okay, your total. Okay, you're at 2 days. 2 days, 18 hours. You're at like 500, right? For some reason, my score does not move up. I don't know if it was like a glitch from the start, but I cannot get up. It doesn't move. It's driving me crazy. I'm like, I want to compete. I want to compete. I'm doing story missions over. Nothing moves this fucking thing. I got like 2 points. Right? And I'm doing our stuff, right? Like I'm participating in all this stuff. How can we join the clan? Well, Hemi, we got 2 spots remaining, so just give me your gamer tag and I'll add you. I'll add you right now. Put your gamer tag in chat. Is it lowercase like that? Yeah. No result. Make sure. Are you playing on Xbox or are you playing on PlayStation or PC? If you're playing on PlayStation or PC, I need your WB gamer tag. I noticed that we got the legendary clan chest. Good job, everyone. Did we? The Superman drop guns or what? No. So that's another thing. That's one of my downsides of this game. The bosses, because you can fight them inside the game and it's a story mission, they do not drop stuff because like it could just continues the story. I want to go back and fight the guys and get drops. Let's see. What happened to... Who you fight in the end game, if not the story boss? You fight Brainiac. You fight Brainiac. So, this is what pops up, Jones. So, it's not really too spoilery because obviously you saw season 1, who the characters are. So, Green Lantern and Superman variants are coming in. And if you play the game, you know what this first boss was. Okay. So, the first season, which is this top section here, you know, right next to me, is going to be Green Lantern and then Superman. And then season 2, and then season 3, and season 4, and season 5, and season 6. Yeah, Seeker, I can add you. You put your name in the channel and then it disappeared. You got 2 spots. So if Seeker comes in and Hemi comes in. Okay. That's not coming up either. W says my name is Hemi 3000G. I typed it in and it's not. Is that the one you have linked? We got no more room, Ghoul, because it only lasts. So stupid. They only do 16 spots, and so anyone that's a member of my stream gets first dibs. There you go, Matrix. I'll keep that spot open for you, Hemi. When you find it out, hit me up in Discord, and then I'll add you. Dolphin, did you accept yours? Because it still says pending. Yeah, see, and our clan's doing pretty damn good right now. Has anybody else anywhere close to pro in contribution rank? Anyone close to it? Well, I can tell you if we can open up another clan if somebody wants to take the charge of it. Where do you see this? It's inside the view clan rewards. I have like 60 hours. Yeah, I'm at like 63, something like that. Yeah, it takes a while. We blew past level 3 though. I'll tell you that. We like our challenges and stuff that we're doing. We blew past that. We did the weekly challenges. We're done. We're done with 3 of the 5. We'll get the big bomb. That'll be done. Man's research rampage mission. Got 8 of 25. Yeah, we'll be done with that. Make sure you take it, because on my screen it says you haven't taken it. Like when I look at the members, you're still pending. I don't know if it's a glitch or what. Oh, wait a minute. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh shit. We're out. I can't get Hemi in. Because it didn't count you yet. So I thought we had 14 spots. You actually only have 15 because you're here pending. Hemi, I can't get you in. Because Dolphin, when he accepts that, that's 15. And then Slayer got the 16th spot. I know, man. No, I don't know what it is. And you know what the weird part is, Sarge? I reached out again, and no one has answered the question. Nobody has answered the question inside their Discord. I was like, does anybody know what the score is? And there's so many people that are asking what the score is and how it's not moving. You might have to check your in-game mail to accept the invite. I'm not sure how it comes in. It looks like it's a glitch. So I can never get my points up. Like literally it goes up like 1 point every like 10 hours. Let me look at you guys. Let me see what you guys are looking like here. How does it run on PC? I'm not sure. No idea. So Booty Pooty, number 1 in our league. When this starts working, I was thinking about doing like a weekly thing and keeping track like a fantasy league type of thing. So like if you're first place at the end of the week, you get 10 points, like a Mario Kart type of thing, you know, like 10, you know, so on and so forth. And then we go through the season, right? So when season 1 comes up, we keep track of who's leading at the end of each week, and then we give a score, right? And then at the end of the season, we'll see who wins. Just a fun little competition, and I'll put it in the Discord. Because you can also change categories. So like we can figure out maybe doing the finite crisis instead. Because you can get like what your mastery level is, and then what mission and what your time is in that. Like Mo's did 19 mastery level. Okay, in 4 minutes and 47 seconds. He is cooking through. He's cooking through. He did it less than a minute and 10 seconds, 11 seconds faster. Right? I got 13. I gotta step my game up. Let's see what Mo. I like this because you can like check out what they're rocking. Mo's got he's got an elite, and he's also got the maxed out. He's also got the maxed out stuff on it. He's got 15 nanopints. 15 inside this thing. He's using all legendary gear right now. Oh, how come it doesn't tell me your augments? That's weird. It's not showing me your augments. Yeah, that's gotta be a. That's weird. It doesn't show me any of your guys' augments, so that the server's messed up. Mo cheats.
Let's see if we can.
I have a weapon that I maxed out. If I could find it. I forget who it was. Was it Boomerang? I could have. Oh, was it Shark? Yeah, check out my Shark gun here. 17 of 17. I thought 15 was the max, right? But the weird part is I have 2 extra pieces I can't put on. I have 2 extra points, but I can't put it on because it's maxed out. I heard something interesting about the online-only games in the future. Devs might opt to force a game to be online only so they can make the server do more when local consoles can't handle it. Interesting. Yeah, so I don't know what to do with this weapon. It's a question for chat, Crowded. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm also worried if I reset this, does it like re-roll? 15 or 16 in a clan. 16. So the problem with ours is that Magic hasn't accepted his. It's pending. So he's 15, and Slayer, if he takes his, is 16.
Let's see if we can bump you up to Worlds number 2.
All right. Yeah, so tonight we're going to play... I'm probably going to play this afternoon a little bit as well. So if you guys see me on, you want to jump in and do some stuff, just... My thing's open, so... 57 on Green Man. I might go buy it. Make sure you have a controller, because you have to use a controller to play it on PC, I believe. I'm not sure, Hemi. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's like a glitch. I thought 15 was the max. And then I got 17. I was like, what? Mouse and keyboard works? You're using it? Okay. I heard that that it tells you you should use a controller, so I thought maybe that's what it was. BB says, I made his mastery level 35. Weird thing to know is an invite, but not how to join. Weird thing is, I know how to invite, but I don't know how to join. I think you just, if I'm not mistaken, like if I go to social,
Let's see what we're working.
and I click on clan, as long as you're on the board, like who's on right now? Anybody on? One online. Hey, Breezy's in here, right? Yeah, see, Dolphin's on. It says he's in the clan, so it must be a glitch, right? Let's invite the squad. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how to join them. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, join squad. There you go. You just click on them. And it brings me into your game. Which I'm going to back out, but that's how you do it. Yeah, the in-game text chat, there is a thing where you could put the VoIP. But I'm not sure it works, because the other day we were playing and somebody was talking, but we couldn't hear them. I don't know how they do it. But tonight we'll be playing some Suicide Squad, and we'll be talking about spoilers and whatnot. So if people want to get it off their chest, they played the game. It's been out since Friday. It's a short game. So we'll talk about it. Maybe I'll put something on the screen that we're talking about spoilers so people don't get pissed off if they haven't played the game yet. So I'll put something up on the screen. Other than that, we're done for the morning. I do appreciate you very much for coming in and hang out with us for the conversations this morning. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for some Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League talk and gameplay. We'll be back tomorrow morning for more gaming news. Other than that, I do appreciate you very much for coming out. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. And check out some of our other videos on the channel. We do lots of uploads, podcasts, and whatnot. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys tonight. Peace.